Yo, what's up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video, and you may be surprised to find I'm not covering Stormgate in this one, but I figured a lot of you guys are big RTS fans, so who better to pitch a video to about Command & Conquer. Now if you haven't heard the news already, the official Command & Conquer YouTube channel just released their first video in 4 years, posting some archive footage from CNC Renegade and CNC Generals and 0 Hour. Now, I don't think I was the only one who was surprised to see that the last time we got a video was the Command & Conquer Remastered launch, which came out 4 years ago on that channel. And for those of you who aren't aware of the history of Command & Conquer, it was essentially discontinued by EA. They really, just ruined the franchise, in my opinion. We ended up, of course, with Command & Conquer 4, which was arguably the worst Command & Conquer game ever made. All of the studios working on the series went down, and basically EA have just swept it under the rug and didn't make any Command & Conquer games for years until they decided to remaster the original game Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn and the first Red Alert. And honestly, those remasters were some of the best remasters of any games I've ever played. Petroglyph Games, who worked on that one, absolutely knocked it out of the park. Now, what has been announced here is not another remaster. It's basically just some old archival footage of Command & Conquer Renegade, which was the first-person CNC game, and then again Command & Conquer Generals, which is one of the most beloved Command & Conquer games as well. So why is this then important? Well, the releasing of this video actually coincides and is really there to celebrate that EA have released source code for the original Command & Conquer, so Tiberian Dawn, Red Alert, Renegade, and then CNC Generals. And what this means is that it opens up the possibility of way more modding for these games. So, as a few examples here, this means they will be able to patch the games. Any of the bugs that were never fixed in the games, modders could potentially fix those. They can patch the games for modern hardware as well, so they could, for example, make some of the games use more RAM or more of your PC's resources, which will keep them going for longer as time goes on. They can add features to the game, expanding the gameplay. They can make better graphics. They could even reverse engineer older games. I think if people wanted, they could actually work on their own remasters of any of those Command & Conquer games themselves. Now, I am not a modder, but this certainly opens the door for a lot of people who are. In addition to that, they've also granted Steam Workshop support to a bunch of the games that released on Steam recently. So a few months ago, I think it was, well, maybe half a year or so ago now, it's been a while, EA decided to release a bunch of their Command & Conquer games over on Steam, and you could buy it all as one big package. So this is like a rare W moment, a rare win for EA. They're presumably doing this without really taking any money for it. I mean, I guess technically, if people are going to be modding the games over on Steam, then maybe that means that EA sell more copies of them there, so they are going to be making a bit more money off of them, and it is in their interest for people to continue playing their games. But what does this mean for the future? Well, EA have gone from complete silence on Command & Conquer over the past few years to slowly starting to speak up about it, releasing the source code for the games, and even doing one remaster. So this certainly begs the question, is there going to be another remaster? Because they haven't released source code for all of the games, namely Tiberian Sun, right? So the games that came out before then, like Tiberian Dawn and Red Alert, those ones have had the source code released, and then later on we've seen like Renegade and General 0 Hours, but we haven't seen the games in between there, like Tiberian Sun. So there is some speculation there that they may be withholding that source code because they want to themselves make a remaster of that game. Or, the other thought process is that maybe they're releasing the source code for most of their games because they're planning to make a brand new Command & Conquer game. I would honestly love to see a studio like Petroglyph work on this. These were the original guys, or a lot of the original guys from Westwood Studios who worked on the original CNC and also then remastered CNC and Red Alert as well. They did a fantastic job on all of that. So I would really like to see them have a swing at a new Command & Conquer game. It's really been a long time. And as we know, the RTS market has become incredibly stale, and now we're seeing indie developers and AA developers springing up everywhere, trying to usher in a new age of RTS games because all of the larger studios like EA and the larger publishers just don't really seem to be interested in it. Of course, we already have Tempest Rising coming around the corner, which is basically like a spiritual successor to Command & Conquer. I guess, the creator of that game kind of thought, hey, if I can't create Command and Conquer because of the IP and EA owning that IP, I can make the next best thing. I definitely think it's heavily inspired by Command and Conquer, and I'm really looking forward to trying out that game. Definitely going to be taking a look here on the channel when that one rolls around. But I certainly think there could be something to that. Maybe EA want to light that fire again and rekindle some of the familiarity with Command & Conquer, because it's been so many years since a game released, except for the remaster, that most people who were maybe too young to play those games at the time don't even know what Command & Conquer is. In fact, I think most kids these days don't even know what strategy games are, which is an incredibly sad thing. So maybe that's part of EA's strategy here. They're trying to rekindle that fire. They're trying to spark something here and get people looking like, what is Command & Conquer, in preparation for them releasing a brand new game. Because, my god, I would absolutely love to see a AAA company with tons of money, all the funding you could ever dream of, throw everything they have at a proper RTS game. I mean, it would be great. That's not to say I'm not happy with the way things are right now. I think it's great to see studios like Frost Giant and like the guys working on Tempest Rising and Battle Aces and all the rest of it working on those games. But one of the problems they're having is limited resources. They can only do so much, and it's really only these massive companies like Blizzard, EA, Microsoft, etc. that have the funds to maybe really truly make a next-gen RTS. And part of me is, I guess, a little bit sad that we may never truly know what that looks like. But hey, keep your fingers crossed. That's the only thing we can do. That's what I'm going to be doing. I would love to see some more Command & Conquer, honestly, in the future. As fantastic as I think it is that we're seeing all of these new RTS franchises coming into the genre, I always have a nostalgic place in my heart for the first RTS I ever played, like the first Command & Conquer, the first Age of Empires back in the day. There's just something that doesn't quite hit the same as those games. Maybe it's just my nostalgia speaking here, and people who play those first games feel like they're woefully outdated and a bad experience, but for me, it feels like childhood. It feels like home, and I would sure love to go back and revisit that from time to time. So let me know what you think below, guys. I know this isn't a Stormgate video, not the usual video maybe here on the channel, but I thought you guys would nevertheless appreciate being kept up to date on this news. So if you found the video useful, leave a like down below, subscribe to keep up to date with everything Stormgate, as well as other RTS games. As you can see, I do feature them here on the channel from time to time. And any support you guys can show me there is massively appreciated, so thank you guys so much for that, especially on the last video, by the way. You guys knocked it out of the park. It's evident that people are very excited for Stormgate and the new look and the new aesthetic of the game, so I think Frost Giant definitely taking things in the right direction there and coming up with a massive win. But otherwise, take care guys, have a good one, and I'll see you all in the next video.